Alright, we're back in the camper for another episode. Today, I'm leaving Fez and heading down to Marrakesh. Marrakesh is the 4th largest city in Morocco, and it's about 150 miles south of Casablanca. Make sure you've subscribed. Let's go. I got to Marrakesh and I went to my riad, a cool spot in the old part of the city. Let me show you around my riad. There you have it, folks. Riad, walk around. When I'm on the road, I like to keep in shape and make sure I'm staying healthy because it's really easy to get into bad habits when you're traveling. So I try to get in a little exercise whenever I can. When you're on the road, away from the gym, can't climb, you get out, you run, you do some push-ups, and then you find a little friend like this. Decent amount of weight, give him the old cradle, and then hit those squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do a little overhead if you want. 1, 2. Don't break them. That's how you get it done on the road. No excuses. While I was in Marrakesh, I did a lot of exploring of the old Medina and the square. Now, forgive my pronunciation, I don't speak Arabic, but I believe it's el-Fnaa. The origin of the name of the square is really interesting, and there's a lot of connotations around death, extinction, or ruin, and people are a little unclear about what exactly the name of the square means. It could be in reference to a mosque that was being built in the square that was never finished, and that could be why it connotates ruin. There were also a lot of public executions in the square, and this idea of death and extinction in the square could possibly be where it gets its name. So some interesting history there. Anyway, in the square, there are snake charmers and there are monkeys. There are a lot of vendors selling things. There's fruit stands and juice stands and things that you can explore or purchase if you'd like. I mainly just walked around and did some exploration. There are tons of food options in Marrakesh, like many other parts of Morocco and Africa. The food is really interesting, lots of spices. One of the famous dishes is the Tangier or tagine, which is that clay pot. You can get beef or chicken, lamb, fish, and all these spices, including fruits and turmeric and all sorts of things that you can get cooked in there, and it's incredibly flavorful. I typically, when I'm in a city, I just kind of wander around and see what other people are eating or look for something great on the street. When I was in Marrakesh, I ate a lot of these wraps that were made by street vendors, and they had beef and all sorts of things in them. I'm not a guide. I just explore a little bit and then share what I've seen. The food is excellent. The exploration is excellent. Marrakesh is a really fun city. In 2011, there was a bombing on April 28th, which is my birthday. But that hasn't happened, something like that, in like a decade. So I would highly recommend, if you have the time, go to Marrakesh and explore it. It's a much busier city than Fez. There's a lot more street traffic that I could see, and the square was extremely busy. I think it's the busiest square in Africa. There's a lot going on. From Marrakesh, I took the train to Casablanca. So this is about a 150-mile train ride. It's pretty exciting. You know, I love taking the trains and buses. This train, there was about 6 people to each little pod on the train. You just got to see the country, fields and cities. There's a lot of olive trees. It sort of almost reminded me of where I'm from here in northern Nevada. Some of the geography looked very similar, which was very interesting. It was kind of funny. When I was on the train, some of the doors were like halfway open, and I was like, all right, let's not lean against that. It's always exciting when you're out traveling. You never know what you're going to see. If you have the ability to travel via train around Morocco, give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. you meet new people, you see some incredible things, and you get to see everything from ground level, which is, I think, is much preferable than just flying over everything. I got a chance in Casablanca to visit Rick's Cafe, which is a recreation from the movie. But for me, it held some cinematic nostalgia to go and have lunch and just have some fun and think about the movies and think about international travel and adventure, which I love, and that's what we're here talking about. At the end of my trip to Casablanca, I went down to the sea and I looked at the water and just kind of reflected on my time in Morocco. There's a large mosque there that's not really that old. I believe it's the 7th largest mosque in the world. It's a beautiful country. Marrakesh is an exciting city. There's a lot going on. I don't really set a very firm itinerary. I like to pick maybe 1 or 2 things that I want to see, and then everything else I allow to happen naturally. You know, without some serendipity, you don't really get that sense of adventure or exploration. So that would be my recommendation. Pick 1 or 2 things that you want to see, even if you're there for 3 or 4 days. Only pick a couple of things, because then you're never going to be disappointed. You'll find new things, you'll explore new places, and you'll probably hit those 1 or 2 things that you wanted to really see. But let everything else happen naturally and tell your own story, have your own adventure. I really hope you enjoyed this dispatch from Marrakesh. Click subscribe, follow along, get out there, live your life.